Welcome to my YouTube channel Alexandru. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell to be notified. Whenever a new clip appears on the channel, you can also share it on the networks of socializing this clip and alike. Let's give this video a go. In today's clip I will show you, present, prove, and many other details, information about how to find your creative moment of the day. We all have a time of the day when we are more creative than usual. Studies prove it. The question is, what is this moment for you? Let's find out together. We have all found ourselves at some point in a creative period. That moment when you find the perfect solution to a problem and start acting immediately without fear that you might fail. It seems impossible to reproduce this moment, but science shows us that everyone has certain moments of the day when we are more creative than others. The trick is to try to find your own such moment. Let's start by turning our attention to the science, then to some tricks and tools that will help you find your own creative moment. The science behind creativity. Taken as a whole, science has ignored the idea of creativity until relatively recently. This did not happen until 1950, when psychologist J.P. Guilford of the American Psychological Association suggested that creativity should be studied. This means, speaking more casually, that the studies are still in progress. We have a few theories about our most creative moment. You are probably most creative when you are not paying attention. It is believed that problem solving occurs most naturally when you are not focused and allow your brain to wander. In a study published in 2011 in the journal Thinking and Reasoning, researchers found that people were more likely to find creative solutions to problems when they were tired. For some, this meant the morning. For others, the afternoon or evening. Obviously, it depends on your body. Drunkenness helps creativity. Similarly to the previously mentioned idea, a study conducted by researchers from the University of Illinois concluded that the most creative solutions are found when you are drunk. The idea is the same as the previous one, because it reinforces the concept that when you let your brain take over, it can solve problems in a more creative way. Exercise makes you more creative. Research has shown that exercise can trigger an explosion of creativity. The idea is that, when you keep your body moving, and you force it to stay in that state, you are not focused, and thus produce more creative ideas. We may even be more creative when we sleep. A 2004 study published in the journal Nature suggests that we are more likely to come up with creative ideas for important problems if we go to bed. And when we wake up in the morning, the first thing we do is think about them. Creativity is related to personal planning. A theory published in 2010 in the journal Thinking Skills and Creativity links time management and creativity as mutually beneficial. Essentially, if you are good at dividing your time and creating to-do lists, there is a positive correlation with your creative moment. So, you can decide to be creative, and this is what we will focus on in what follows. Do you notice some trends in all this research? Contrary to what we are tempted to think, we are most creative when we are not at our optimal mental level. It's different for everyone, but finding the moment isn't as difficult as you might think, since finding that moment is the key to new and inventive ideas. Let's take a look at some ways to break up your day to find your creative time. A systematic approach to identifying the creative moment. There's a good chance that the information above has given you a jump start to finding your creative moment. If you have some idea of when you're most tired, for example, you could test it to see what happens. If you want to approach the facts in a more analytical way, that's what this section is for. We are all different, so finding the creative moment will take some work. Before you recharge your day, you'll need to gather data to work with. Over the past week, I've tried a few methods to find and capture my bursts of creativity and come up with a schedule to compare them to. The specifics of your creative work may be very different from mine, but here's what I did. Find and mark your creative moments throughout the day. Since most of my time in a day is spent in front of the computer, I used a time management program to better understand how I spend my time and what I spend it on. I also started looking through the revision history of my documents and time-stamping the notes. Here are some tricks I've learned to find my bursts of creativity. Start with a spreadsheet program. Create a table like the one above, with the days of the week horizontally and the time in half hours vertically. Here we will gather our data about our creative moments, our productive time estimate and the daily schedule. Time management software. Use a time management app to get a clear idea of the most productive moments of the day. I had a slight suspicion that they wouldn't match my moments of creativity, but we'll get to that later. I used Rescue Time to get an idea of when I was actively using the software. It collects all your data and stores it in an online application. For now, download the free version, install it and let it run quietly in the background. We will see the data at the end of the week. Google search history. I wanted for myself personally a way to track when and what I started typing. I figured Google Docs revision history would do that for me. If you're writing in Google Docs, click File greater than Revision History. On the right side of the screen you can see every change you made in a text document. At the end of each day, I went back and looked through history for the Eureka moment. For me, it was a single line that stood out or a huge post. In some cases, it was just a long text that made me realize that this is where it all started. Your version will be different, but it's easy to discover. At the end of each day, make an X next to the Eureka moment in the table at the time and day. Mark Notes Moments. This works whether you're on the go or at home, but if you're using Post-its, a notepad app, or a receipt in your wallet, start writing down the time you had an idea. These are the Eureka moments. When we solve a problem or a new problem comes to us that we can solve. Consider these notes as the spark of an idea. Ideas are not always good, but they should be new. If you prefer smartphone apps, consider Moment Diary for iOS or Android to automatically store idea moments. Let them accumulate during the week and we'll tabulate them at the end of it. Watch your daily schedule for clues. Pursuing creativity is only part of this idea. To truly understand your creativity schedule, you must also understand your daily schedule. It's not about finding your most creative and productive moments based on time alone. It's also about seeing where the rest of your schedule fits. Every day, follow in the table elements such as wake up time, breakfast, lunch, physical exercises, dinner, bedtime. For a concise measurement, gather all the details under the moments that could have an effect on the numbers. Notice peculiarities such as, if you were sick one day, your morning ritual was messed up, or if you were making a delivery. Essentially, it quickly jots down anything you do out of the ordinary throughout the day so you can compare it to the rest of your data. Review the data and use the findings to plan your day and take advantage of the creative moment. Once you collect a week's worth of data, it's time to turn all that information into something useful. Let's go through the steps of data evaluation and see how you can adjust your daily schedule to make the most of your creative time. It collects all the creativity data. It's time to take all the collected data and put all the details in the table. For this, we will assume that creativity presents itself in two basic forms: the Eureka moment and the productive moments. Let's see how we can use all the information gathered over the course of a week to measure both. Step 1. Gather together all the notes and information gathered about creativity during the week. Using the times you mark the notes, make an X for each such note in the table. These are your Eureka moments. If you're using the Google Docs trick, you may already have a few spread out in addition to your daily schedule. Step 2. Analyze software usage and rescue time. Log into rescue time and click on what you're watching under all categories. Set the chart to daily, then hourly. In front of you is a graph that should show you the use of the application throughout the day. Look at the peak moments of using the software to find creative ideas, and integrate the information into the table by coloring the cells at the moments when your productivity reaches its peak. These are your productive and creative moments. Step 3. Look at the schedule of your productivity, Eureka moments, and day-to-day activities. You should be able to see a certain trend. Maybe the Eureka moments immediately follow the productive ones or precede them. You may be most productive after lunch, but the creative notes are in the early morning. Look at the other details you wrote down. There is a correlation between waking up late and the moment when do you get ideas. Does the disease have any effect? If so, you can ignore some of these moods and focus on the good days. If they are completely wasted, consider repeating the process for another week. In my case, I learned that the greatest amount of productivity came at a different time than the Eureka moments. These tend to center around exercise classes more than anything else. Out of a total of 15 notes, 6 were after exercises. 7 notes were taken between 9 and 12 in the morning, and the time interval 11-11:30 was the most frequent. What can you do with all this information? Let's see how to rearrange your schedule so that you can take full advantage of these moments. Make your schedule so that you use your time wisely. We've talked before about building thinking time into your schedule, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. It's not just about thinking, it's about using your time wisely and surrounding yourself with what you need to always be creative. For some, this means a period of time where they let the muse speak. For others, it's rescheduling time so that problem solving is in the most creative moments of the day. I've made some changes to my schedule to take advantage of these moments. Most days, I scheduled my exercises around 10:30 in the morning. Then I walk around the neighborhood a bit to clear my mind and come up with new ideas. After that, I put down on paper the basic ideas that come to me before lunch and work on them further because this is my time of maximum productivity. I've also noticed that most of my Google Docs edits come late in the day, when I'm tired, and early in the morning, before I actually start working. Afterwards, I chose 2 time slots for edits, one at 4 p.m. and one right after I wake up. Your solutions will be different, but the important part of changing your schedule is not just when you took the most notes, but what led to them. For example, if you notice an increase in creativity after meetings, schedule your creative moments after them. If it happens in the morning, when you are tired and indisposed, take more time to shower. If your schedule is nailed down, creative moments probably come at specific times, so allow yourself to take advantage of them. Creativity is an ambiguous matter, but we all have so-called eureka moments. Discovering when and why these unexpected moments hit us as if out of the blue is the first step towards creating a program favorable to creativity. Whether we're talking about the morning sickness moments, the afternoon jog, or the moments after a few beers, knowing when your creative moment is helps you embrace it.